In 1971, physicists did something that sounds impossible. They made time move backward, not theoretically, not in a thought experiment. They took 4 atomic clocks, the most precise instruments ever created, flew them around the world on commercial airplanes, and when those clocks landed, they were measurably younger than the clocks that stayed on the ground. Time had literally moved slower for them. This experiment has been repeated thousands of times. It's why GPS satellites work. Time is not what you think it is, and here's why this matters to your life right now. If time can slow down, speed up, and move at different rates depending on conditions, then that painful memory you keep replaying, that moment you think is stuck in your past, it's not in your past. It's happening right now, in this present moment, because you are recreating it with your consciousness every time you remember it. You're not trying to escape your past. You're trying to stop recreating it in your present, and quantum physics has proven you can do this. In 1927, physicists discovered something that changed everything. The double-slit experiment proved that observation, consciousness, literally determines which reality becomes actual. When you observe a particle, you collapse infinite possibilities into one outcome, not metaphorically, measurably. This has been repeated thousands of times. This is how quantum computers work. This is established physics. Your consciousness doesn't just perceive reality. Your consciousness selects which timeline you experience from infinite parallel possibilities. Every moment, there are infinite versions of your future branching out. One where you heal, one where you stay stuck, one where you thrive. What determines which future becomes real? Your electromagnetic frequency. In the next hour, I'm going to show you the physics experiments that prove time is not linear and why your past literally doesn't exist except in your present moment consciousness. How your heart's electromagnetic field, measurable up to 3 feet outside your body, is selecting which timeline you experience right now, and the complete protocol to shift your frequency and jump timelines consciously, not through visualization tricks, but through applied quantum mechanics. If you've been trying to manifest a different future while feeling stuck in the past, this is why. Let's break the timeline. What makes this approach different is that we're going to bridge 3 dimensions of understanding that are rarely brought together: the science of time consciousness. We're going to explore the actual physics of time, from Einstein's relativity to quantum mechanics, and discover why the fundamental equations of the universe contain no arrow of time. We're talking about measurable, provable mechanics that show time isn't what you think it is. Energy self-care as timeline medicine. You're going to learn how your biofield, your electromagnetic signature, is literally broadcasting a frequency that locks you into specific timelines. This isn't metaphor. Your nervous system, your heart's electromagnetic field, your brainwave patterns, these are selecting which timeline you experience moment to moment. Natural magic of temporal fluidity. We're going to work with the forgotten art of timeline shifting, using the intelligence of your consciousness to collapse quantum possibilities into different realities, not as fantasy, but as practical technology that quantum physics has already proven. When you bring these 3 together, something extraordinary happens. You don't just heal your past or manifest your future. You literally step outside of linear time and into a space where you can choose which timeline to experience, where the patterns that have defined your life simply cease to exist, because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency that creates them. Before we go deeper, I need to warn you, this content is activational. As you watch this video, you might experience tingling in your body, particularly in your hands or feet. You might feel emotional. You might have sudden insights or memories surface. You might feel an intense urge to change something in your life immediately. That's not random. That's your system recognizing truth. That's your higher self saying, Yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. Trust what you feel in your body more than what you think in your mind. Your body knows time differently than your brain does. Your heart operates outside of linear time. And in the next hour, we're going to teach your entire system how to access that. Let's begin the journey from time-bound to timeless. For the past several years, I've been diving deep into the intersection between quantum physics, neuroscience, and consciousness studies. Not as a mystic disconnected from reality, but as someone committed to finding truth, whether that truth lives in physics laboratories or in ancient wisdom about the nature of time. And what I've discovered has shaken everything I thought I knew about who we are and what we can do. Here's the revolutionary truth that mainstream science is only beginning to accept. Time is not a river flowing in one direction. Time is not an arrow. Time is not even real in the way you've been taught to experience it. Consciousness doesn't exist in time. Consciousness creates the experience of time. You are not a being trapped in a linear sequence of moments. You are a quantum consciousness capable of accessing, changing, and selecting different timelines simultaneously. This isn't philosophy, this is physics. Today, you're going to receive the complete map. Part 1, the science that breaks linear time. We'll explore Einstein's relativity, the arrow of time paradox, and why fundamental physics equations have no past or future. Part 2, the quantum field of infinite timelines, how quantum mechanics proves multiple timelines exist simultaneously and how your consciousness collapses them into experience. Part 3, your electromagnetic signature as timeline selector, the measurable science of how your heart, field, and nervous system lock you into specific temporal patterns. Part 4, the past that never existed, why memories are present moment constructions and how this liberates you from trauma. Part 5, practical timeline, shifting protocols, step-by-step exercises to shift your frequency and jump timelines consciously. Part 6, the complete quantum time mastery system, your 30-day protocol for operating outside linear time. This isn't about escaping reality. This is about understanding that reality itself is far more fluid, far more malleable, far more responsive to consciousness than you ever imagined. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to learn will challenge everything you thought you knew about past, present, and future. Let's begin. 1905, Albert Einstein, a 26-year-old patent clerk in Switzerland, publishes a paper that would shatter humanity's understanding of time forever. He wasn't trying to be mystical. He was trying to solve a very practical problem. Why do the laws of electromagnetism seem to break when objects move at high speeds? What he discovered was shocking. He found that time itself, the thing we assume is constant, universal, the same for everyone, is actually relative. Time moves at different speeds depending on how fast you're moving and how strong the gravitational field is around you. Here's the experiment that proved it. In 1971, physicists Joseph Haefel and Richard Keating took 4 atomic clocks, the most precise timekeeping devices ever created, and flew them around the world on commercial airplanes. When they returned, they compared these clocks to identical atomic clocks that had remained on the ground. The result? The clocks that had flown on the airplanes were measurably younger. Time had literally moved slower for them. Not by a metaphor, not by theory, by actual measurable nanoseconds. This experiment has been repeated thousands of times. GPS satellites have to account for this effect, or your navigation would be off by miles. Time dilation is not philosophy, it's engineering reality. But here's where it gets profound. If time can slow down or speed up depending on movement and gravity, then time is not a fundamental feature of the universe. Time is malleable. Time is relative. Time is not what you think it is. And here's the question that changes everything. If time itself is not absolute, if it can bend, stretch, slow down, speed up, then what about your experience of being trapped in a linear sequence from past to future? What if that's just one way of experiencing time, but not the only way. But Einstein's relativity is just the beginning. Because when we go deeper into quantum mechanics, into the actual equations that govern reality at its most fundamental level, we discover something even more radical. The equations of physics have no arrow of time, none. You can run the equations forward or backward, and they work perfectly. There is no before and after built into the fabric of reality. The only place where time has direction, where past is different from future, is in your consciousness. Let me show you what this means. Let's go straight to the scientific point that changes everything. The arrow of time doesn't exist in fundamental physics. It only exists in thermodynamics, and even there, it's not what you think. In 1867, physicist Ludwig Boltzmann was wrestling with a profound mystery. The second law of thermodynamics says that entropy, disorder, always increases over time. Things fall apart. Heat flows from hot to cold. Eggs break but don't unbreak. This law seems to create an arrow of time, the direction from order to disorder, from past to future. But here's the problem Boltzmann discovered. When you look at the actual equations governing individual particles, whether it's Newton's laws or Maxwell's equations, or even Einstein's relativity, there is no arrow of time. You can reverse time in these equations and they work perfectly. So where does the arrow come from? Boltzmann's answer shocked the scientific world. The arrow of time is statistical, not fundamental. It's not built into the laws of physics. It's built into large systems with many particles, where certain configurations are more probable than others. Here are the numbers that matter. In a closed system with 1023 particles, roughly the number in a cup of water, the probability of entropy spontaneously decreasing, time appearing to run backward, is approximately 1 in 1023. That's a number so large it dwarfs the number of atoms in the entire observable universe. And this is crucial, it's not impossible. It's just extraordinarily improbable, which means the arrow of time is not a law. It's a probability. It's not inevitable. It's just likely. And probability can be influenced by consciousness in ways quantum mechanics has already proven. And before you think, this is too theoretical to matter to my life, consider this. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons. Each neuron can be in multiple states. The number of possible configurations of your neural network is larger than the number of atoms in the universe, which means the probability of your consciousness spontaneously shifting into a completely different pattern, a different timeline, if you will, is low but not zero. And we're going to teach you how to increase that probability dramatically. Here's what few people understand. You don't move through time. Time moves through your consciousness, and your consciousness can choose which time it attunes to. Think of it like this. Imagine you're standing in a vast cosmic library. In this library, there are infinite books, and each book represents a complete timeline of your life. In one book, you said yes to that opportunity 10 years ago. In another, you said no. In one timeline, you healed that relationship. In another, you didn't. All of these books exist simultaneously on the shelves. They're all equally real. They're all equally available. But here's what determines which book you're reading right now. Your frequency, your electromagnetic signature, the coherent field pattern that your consciousness is broadcasting this moment. You're not trapped in one book, forced to read page after page in linear sequence. You're a consciousness that can close one book and open another. You can jump timelines. You can select which version of your life you experience. The only reason you feel stuck in one timeline is because your electromagnetic signature, generated by your heart, your brain, your nervous system, keeps broadcasting the same frequency. And that frequency keeps opening the same book, the same timeline, the same patterns. If you broadcast the frequency of fear, You open timelines where threatening events validate that fear. If you broadcast the frequency of lack, you open timelines where scarcity is confirmed. If you broadcast the frequency of unworthiness, you open timelines where rejection is inevitable. But if you broadcast the frequency of coherence, of heart-brain alignment, of trust, of gratitude, you open timelines where synchronicities appear, where doors open effortlessly, where the universe seems to conspire in your favor. And here's the part that's hard to accept. Your past doesn't exist anywhere except in your present moment consciousness. Every time you remember something, you're not accessing a fixed recording. You're reconstructing that memory right now. You're literally creating your past in this present moment, which means you're not trying to escape a past that happened. You're trying to stop recreating it in your present. So, what's the solution? How do you stop recreating a past that keeps you in limiting timelines? The answer is coherence. When your heart, brain, and gut enter a state of electromagnetic coherence, when they synchronize their frequencies, you create a powerful broadcasting signal that can shift timelines. The morning timeline shift protocol. Step 1, ground and center, 2 minutes. Before you look at your phone, before you engage with external reality, sit comfortably with your feet flat on the ground. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Hold for 2. Feel your body. Feel the chair beneath you. Feel your feet on the floor. Step 2. Heart coherence activation. 3 minutes. Place your hand over your heart. As you breathe, imagine the breath moving in and out of your heart center. Breathe slowly. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. As you do this, recall a genuine moment of gratitude, love, or appreciation. Don't fake it. Find a real memory, a moment with a loved one, a beautiful sunset, a pet you cherished. Feel that emotion in your chest. Step 3, timeline declaration, 2 minutes. Still breathing through your heart, silently declare, I close the book of limiting timelines. I open the timeline where I am aligned, abundant and free. I broadcast the frequency of this reality now. Don't try to visualize specific outcomes. That engages your thinking brain and breaks coherence. Instead, feel the emotional tone of the timeline you want. What does it feel like to be that version of you? Successful, loved, creative, healthy. Feel that feeling. Let it fill your body. Step 4, somatic integration. 1 minute. Slowly open your eyes. Move your body gently. Roll your shoulders. Stretch your neck. Say out loud, I am living in the timeline I choose. My past does not define my present. Stand up. Step forward physically as a symbolic gesture of stepping into the new timeline. When you first do this practice, your rational mind will resist. It will say, this is silly, or this can't work. That's normal. Your ego is designed to keep you in familiar patterns, even painful ones. But if you do this consistently for 21 days, every single morning, before engaging with external reality, you will notice synchronicities increase. Opportunities will appear. Old patterns will start dissolving. Now, before you run off to try this, there's something crucial I need to tell you about why most people fail at timeline shifting, even when they do everything right. And it has to do with what quantum physics calls the observer effect. Let's go to the quantum level, where things get truly strange. The act of observation collapses infinite possibilities into one reality. Your consciousness doesn't just perceive timelines, it selects them. In 1927, at the 5th Solvay conference in Brussels, physicists gathered to discuss the implications of a disturbing experiment, the double-slit experiment. Here's what they discovered. When you shoot electrons through 2 slits without observing which slit they go through, the electrons behave like waves and create an interference pattern, as if each electron goes through both slits simultaneously and interferes with itself. But when you place a detector to observe which slit the electron goes through, when you measure it, when you bring consciousness into the equation, the interference pattern disappears. The electron behaves like a particle and goes through only one slit. This experiment has been repeated thousands of times with increasingly sophisticated equipment. The results are always the same. The act of observation changes the outcome. Consciousness collapses probability waves into definite states. In 2012, researchers at the Weizmann Institute in Israel demonstrated this effect with stunning precision. They showed that even the intensity of observation affects the outcome. A weak measurement causes partial wave collapse. A strong measurement causes complete collapse. The numbers: when observation strength was increased from 0% to 100%, the interference pattern visibility decreased from 100% to 0% in direct proportion. Perfect correlation. Consciousness literally determines which reality becomes actual. And before you think this only applies to subatomic particles, understand this: you are made of those particles. Your body contains approximately 7x 1027 atoms. Every single one operates according to quantum mechanics. Your consciousness is constantly observing your reality, and what you observe, where you place your attention, what you expect to see, is literally collapsing quantum possibilities into the timeline you experience. You're not a passive observer of your life. You're the active selector. Here's what quantum mechanics reveals. Every moment contains infinite possible futures, branching out like a tree. Your observation, your attention, is the pruning shears that select which branch becomes real for you. Metaphora principle, 2 minutos. Imagine standing at the trunk of a massive tree. Every branch represents a different possible timeline extending into the future. On one branch, you have a breakthrough at work tomorrow. On another branch, you have a conflict. On another, nothing remarkable happens at all. All of these branches exist as possibility until the moment you climb onto one of them. And what determines which branch you climb onto? Your electromagnetic frequency, the broadcast signal generated by your emotions, thoughts, and nervous system state. If you wake up tomorrow broadcasting anxiety, you'll naturally gravitate toward the branches where anxious outcomes await. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because you're literally tuned to that frequency. You're climbing the anxiety branch. If you wake up broadcasting coherence and trust, you'll naturally move toward branches where supportive outcomes await. The opportunities, the people, the synchronicities that exist on that branch become visible to you. Here's what this means practically. That job interview tomorrow. There's a timeline where it goes brilliantly and a timeline where it goes poorly. Both exist as quantum possibility right now. What determines which timeline you experience? Not your resume, not your qualifications, your frequency in the moment of the interview. That difficult conversation you need to have. There's a timeline where it heals the relationship and a timeline where it damages it further. Your heart coherence in that moment determines which timeline manifests. The future isn't predetermined. The future is a probability field, and probability responds to consciousness. But here's what makes this difficult. Your subconscious mind is broadcasting 95% of your frequency. Your conscious intentions, your affirmations, your visualizations, these operate at maybe 5% of your electromagnetic output, which means you can consciously intend one timeline while subconsciously broadcasting a completely different frequency. And the subconscious always wins, always. So how do you reprogram the subconscious frequency that's selecting your timeline? How do you get your conscious desires and subconscious broadcast into alignment? The answer lies in understanding that the subconscious mind doesn't speak in words. It speaks in sensation, in emotion, in body states. The subconscious timeline, reprogramming protocol. Step 1. Identify your current broadcast. 5 minutes. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what emotion am I broadcasting most consistently? Don't think about what you want to feel. Be honest about what you do feel. Anxiety, frustration, resignation, anger. Just observe it without judgment. Now scan your body. Where do you feel this emotion? Tight chest, clenched jaw, shallow breath, contracted stomach? Notice the somatic signature of your current frequency. Step 2. Choose your desired timeline feeling. 3 minutes. Now ask, what would I feel if I were already living my desired timeline? Not what you would have or do, what you would feel. Peaceful, excited, grateful, creative, loved. Find a real memory where you genuinely felt this emotion. Don't fake it or force it. Find an authentic moment, maybe from childhood, maybe from a recent experience. Access that feeling. Step 3, somatic imprinting, 7 minutes. As you access that desired emotion, breathe it into your body deliberately. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. With each breath, imagine this emotion spreading through every cell. Notice how your body changes. Your chest opens, your breath deepens, your face softens. This is what changing timelines feels like somatically. Do this breathing pattern for at least 10 cycles. You're literally retuning your biofield to broadcast a different frequency. Step 4, future memory installation, 5 minutes. Now, from this elevated emotional state, imagine a specific event from your desired timeline happening. Don't watch yourself like a movie. Be yourself. See through your own eyes. Feel what you would feel. Hear what you would hear. Make it sensory and specific. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between real memories and vividly imagined ones. You're creating a future memory that your subconscious will now seek to manifest. Your logical mind will say, this is just visualization, it won't change reality. But remember, quantum mechanics has proven that observation, consciousness, literally determines which possibility becomes real. This isn't fantasy. This is applied quantum mechanics, using your consciousness as the measuring device. Do this practice once daily for 30 days. Track the synchronicities that begin appearing. You'll be amazed. Now here's where most people get stuck. They do the practice, they shift their frequency temporarily, but then they walk into their daily life and immediately get pulled back into their old timeline. Why? Because they haven't addressed the third piece of the puzzle. Their environment and relationships are anchored in the old timeline. Let's talk about something most spiritual teachers won't tell you. Your electromagnetic field extends 3 to 6 feet outside your physical body, and it's constantly interacting with the fields of people around you. This phenomenon is called biofield entrainment, and it determines which timeline you can sustain. In 1993, the HeartMath Institute began measuring something extraordinary using squid magnetometers, devices so sensitive they can detect the magnetic fields generated by the human heart. What they discovered revolutionized our understanding of human interaction. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to 3 feet away from the body. This field is 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain's electrical field and 5,000 times stronger in magnetic intensity. But here's what's even more remarkable. When two people are in proximity, their heart fields begin to synchronize. If one person is in a state of high coherence, measurable as a smooth, ordered heart rhythm, the other person's heart rhythm begins to entrain to that pattern. The researchers found this happens even when people aren't consciously aware of it, even when they're not touching. The fields interact automatically. The data is precise. When measuring two people sitting 4 feet apart, their heart rhythms show cross-correlation dilation coefficients as high as 0.75 within minutes. That's a statistical measure of how synchronized their electromagnetic signatures become. What does this mean? You are not electromagnetically isolated. You're constantly exchanging frequency information with every person in your environment. If the people around you are broadcasting fear, chaos, or scarcity, your field has to work extremely hard to maintain a different frequency. This is measurable physics, not psychology. And here's the brutal truth. If you spend 8 hours a day with people who are broadcasting the frequency of the old timeline, complaining, fearful, stuck in victim consciousness, you are being electromagnetically pulled back into that timeline, no matter how much personal work you do. This is why people often relapse into old patterns when they return to familiar environments. It's not weakness, it's biofield entrainment, it's physics. Here's the hard truth about timeline shifting. You cannot fully shift into a new timeline while surrounded by people and environments that are electromagnetically anchored in your old timeline. Think of it like trying to tune a guitar string while someone else is holding it down. You can pluck the string, try to adjust the tension, but as long as that external pressure is there, the string cannot vibrate at its natural frequency. Your consciousness is that string. Your electromagnetic field is its vibration, and the people around you, their fields, their expectations, their energetic investment in you remaining who you've been. These are external pressures holding you in a specific vibrational pattern. This is why quantum leaps often require environmental changes, why breakthroughs happen during retreats, travel, or after ending toxic relationships. Not because the new environment gives you something, because the new environment stops pulling you back into the old vibrational pattern. You're not escaping. You're removing the interference so your natural frequency can emerge. If you're trying to shift to a timeline of abundance, but everyone around you talks constantly about scarcity, you're swimming upstream. If you're trying to shift to a timeline of health, but your family expects you to be the sick one, their expectation is an electromagnetic anchor. If you're trying to shift to a timeline of creative expression, but your partner identifies with you being practical and safe, their identity is entangled with your old timeline. This isn't about blaming others. It's about understanding the physics of entanglement. And here's what makes this especially challenging. Often the people most invested in your old timeline are the people who love you. They're not trying to hold you back maliciously, but their nervous systems have adapted to who you've been. Change threatens that adaptation, so unconsciously they'll pull you back to maintain their own equilibrium. This is family systems theory meeting quantum physics. So how do you shift timelines when your environment is electromagnetically anchored in your old pattern? You need to create what I call sovereign field boundaries, energetic protocols that maintain your frequency regardless of external fields. The sovereign field boundary protocol. Step 1, morning field sealing, 5 minutes. Before any interaction with others, before checking phone, before conversation, spend 5 minutes establishing your sovereign field. Sit quietly. Visualize a sphere of golden light surrounding your entire body, extending 3 feet in all directions. As you breathe, imagine this sphere becoming more solid, more radiant. Say silently or aloud, "My field is sovereign. I honor others' frequencies without absorbing them. I maintain my chosen timeline." Step 2, environmental field clearing, 3 minutes. When you enter a space with other people, workplace, family gathering, social event, pause for 30 seconds. Take 3 conscious breaths. Visualize your golden sphere expanding slightly, creating a clear boundary between your field and ambient energy. You're not creating a wall, you're creating a semi-permeable boundary. You can feel and interact with others, but you don't automatically entrain to their frequency. Step 3. Interaction coherence check throughout the day. During conversations, especially difficult ones, keep part of your awareness on your heart center. If you notice your breathing becoming shallow, your chest tightening, or anxiety arising, these are signs you're beginning to entrain to another frequency. Immediately, take one deep breath. Visualize golden light in your heart expanding. This interrupts entrainment and re-establishes your chosen frequency. Step 4. Evening field integration. 10 minutes. Before sleep, consciously release any frequencies you absorbed during the day. Sit or lie down. Scan your body for areas of tension or heaviness. These often indicate absorbed energy. Visualize golden light pouring through your crown, filling your entire body and field, dissolving any energy that isn't yours. See it draining down through your feet into the earth, where it's neutralized and transformed. Then reaffirm your sovereign frequency for the next day. This will feel artificial at first. You might feel like you're putting up walls or being inauthentic. But remember, maintaining your sovereign frequency isn't about disconnecting from others. It's about being with others without losing yourself. The most compassionate thing you can do is maintain your coherent frequency. Then you become an anchor for others to entrain to higher possibilities rather than everyone collapsing into collective dysfunction. Now, there's one final piece that 90% of people miss, even when they do all these practices correctly, and it has to do with a fundamental misunderstanding about when timeline shifts actually occur. Most people think it's gradual. It's not. As promised, I'm going to reveal the #1 mistake that prevents 90% of people from successfully shifting timelines, even when they understand all the science and do all the practices correctly. And this error is subtle, but absolutely critical. The error is this: trying to force the shift through mental effort rather than allowing it through somatic surrender. Here's what happens. You learn that consciousness selects timelines. So you start trying to control your consciousness. You force yourself to feel grateful. You try to suppress negative thoughts. You monitor yourself constantly, judging every emotion as either good frequency or bad frequency. This creates enormous internal pressure. You're essentially trying to shift timelines from a state of resistance. Resistance to what is, resistance to your current feelings, resistance to the present moment. But here's what quantum mechanics teaches us. Observation without judgment collapses possibilities. Observation with judgment creates interference. When you judge your current state as wrong, you're actually energizing that state. You're giving it attention, resistance, emotional charge, and what you resist persists, not as philosophy, but as quantum mechanics. Your resistance creates a standing wave pattern that locks you into the very timeline you're trying to escape. Why is this so common? Because your ego believes that control equals safety. Your thinking mind believes that if it can just figure out the right formula, force the right feelings, maintain perfect discipline, then change will happen. But timeline shifting doesn't happen through the thinking mind. It happens through the body, through the nervous system, through states of coherence that cannot be forced, only allowed. When you try to force a shift, you activate your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. This creates incoherence. Your heart rhythm becomes chaotic. Your brain waves become dysregulated. Your biofield broadcasts confusion rather than clarity. And the quantum field responds to clarity, to coherence, not to force. The secret is practice timeline shifting from a place of complete acceptance of your current timeline. This sounds paradoxical, but it's quantum truth. You shift timelines not by rejecting where you are, but by fully being where you are while choosing a different frequency. It's the difference between "I hate this reality, I must escape it," resistance, incoherence, and "I see this reality, I honor it, and I now choose a different frequency," acceptance, coherence. That subtle shift in consciousness is the difference between staying stuck and quantum leaping. So let's integrate everything you've learned today. First, you discovered that time is not what you thought it was. The arrow of time doesn't exist in fundamental physics, only in thermodynamics. And even there, it's statistical, not absolute. Einstein proved time is relative. Quantum mechanics proved that consciousness collapses infinite timelines into experienced reality. These aren't theories, they're measured, proven physics. You learned about the double-slit experiment, showing that observation determines outcome. You learned about time dilation, proving time is malleable. You learned about biofield entrainment, showing that electromagnetic fields interact and influence each other. Second, you saw how your electromagnetic field, generated by your heart, brain, and nervous system, is literally the broadcasting antenna that selects which timeline you experience. Your heart generates a field measurable 3 feet outside your body. This field entrains with other fields around you. When you're in coherence, heart, brain, and gut synchronized, you broadcast a clear frequency that the quantum field responds to. When you're in incoherence, internal conflict, resistance, judgment, you broadcast mixed signals. And mixed signals create mixed results. Chaos in, chaos out. Coherence in, clarity out. Your biofield is not metaphor. It's measurable electromagnetic radiation that interacts with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Third, you learned specific protocols to shift your frequency and jump timelines consciously. The morning timeline. Shift protocol, creating coherence before engaging with external reality. The subconscious reprogramming protocol, using sensation and emotion to reprogram the 95% of your broadcast that's subconscious. The sovereign field boundary protocol, maintaining your frequency even when surrounded by different frequencies. These aren't meditation techniques for relaxation. These are precision instruments for timeline navigation based on quantum mechanics and biofield science. When you integrate these three, the science of time, the energy of your biofield, and the practice of conscious coherence, you're not just learning theory, you're becoming a quantum conscious being capable of navigating timelines intentionally. You're no longer a victim of your past or a passive observer of your future. You're the conscious selector of which timeline becomes your experienced reality. This is your birthright. This is what you were always capable of. You just needed to remember. Now I want to hear from you. What was the biggest insight you had watching this video? And have you ever experienced a moment where you felt like you jumped timelines, where reality suddenly shifted in a way you couldn't explain? Leave that in the comments below. I read every single comment and respond personally. And if you start applying these protocols and notice synchronicities, timeline shifts, or quantum leaps happening, please come back and share your experience. Your story could be the catalyst that helps thousands of others realize this is real, this is possible, this works. The comment section isn't just for engagement. It's a quantum field where we're collectively raising the frequency. Your contribution matters. If this content resonated with you, if you felt something shift in your consciousness while watching, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Every week I bring new videos integrating quantum physics, consciousness science, energy medicine, and practical protocols for reality creation. Videos on manifestation, biofield healing, timeline shifting, and quantum consciousness expansion. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a community of quantum conscious beings learning to navigate reality intentionally. This video is just the beginning beginning of your journey into mastering time, frequency, and timeline selection. Join us. The quantum field is calling you. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone who feels stuck in repeating patterns, someone ready to understand the quantum nature of reality, someone prepared for timeline mastery, share this video with them. Not everyone is ready for this information, but you'll know who is. Trust your intuition. When you share this, you're not just sharing a video, you're potentially changing someone's entire trajectory. You're offering them the key to unlock timelines they didn't know were available. That's profound service. That's quantum activism. Share wisely and generously. If you want to go even deeper into timeline mastery, watch the next video appearing on screen where I reveal the complete 30-day quantum timeline shift protocol. The exact daily practices that will consolidate everything you learned today into a systematic transformation process. Or access the complete timeline mastery playlist in the description, where we explore the science of parallel realities, the role of quantum entanglement in relationships, and how to use natural cycles, lunar phases, seasonal shifts, Earth's electromagnetic field to amplify your timeline shifting power. The journey doesn't end here. This was the foundation. Now we build the mastery. Remember, you didn't find this video. This video found you. In a quantum universe of infinite content, infinite videos, infinite possibilities, your consciousness collapsed the wave function that led you here, right now, to this exact moment. That's not accident. That's not algorithm. That's synchronicity. That's your higher self saying, yes, it's time. You're ready to understand time differently. You're ready to operate outside linear causality. You're ready to become a conscious timeline navigator. The fact that you watched all the way to this moment, that alone tells me something profound about you. You're not interested in surface-level manifestation tricks. You want the real science, the real mechanics, the real power. And now you have it. You have within you the power to change your frequency. And when you change your frequency, you change your timeline. This isn't magic, it's quantum mechanics. This isn't luck, it's alignment. This isn't wishful thinking. It's applied consciousness technology backed by decades of scientific research. Your past does not define you because your past doesn't even exist, except as present moment neural reconstruction. Your future is not predetermined because the future is a probability field responsive to your electromagnetic signature. You are not trapped in a linear sequence from birth to death, helplessly experiencing whatever comes. You are a quantum consciousness operating in a field of infinite parallel timelines, and you can choose consciously, intentionally, deliberately, which timeline to experience. That's not philosophy, that's physics. And now you know how to apply it. So start today, start right now. As soon as this video ends, do the morning timeline shift protocol. Create coherence. Feel the frequency of your desired timeline. Broadcast it clearly. The quantum field is waiting for your signal. The universe is ready to respond. Your new timeline is available this moment. Not someday, not eventually, but now. All you have to do is shift your frequency and select it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember, you are not bound by time. You are not limited by past. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are consciousness itself, eternal and infinite, temporarily focused in this moment, capable of navigating all timelines. Stay coherent, stay conscious, and keep shifting. The quantum field is yours to navigate.